Hello! Happy Monday. Happy 2025 because it's many months in and it's been a little while since I've done a live stream to connect with you all. I hope you are doing well. Yes, I realize it is late April, but it's been a year, right? Hopefully you all are doing well, settling in. Those who are in the middle of state testing, good luck. I hope it's going well. Those who are getting ready for state testing coming up, good luck. But goes well. All of the things that hit at the end of the school year are happening. I hope that you are not feeling too stressed or too busy of all of those things. I recognize, it's just that time of year. But I wanted to jump in and talk about something that came up last week when I was in Oregon working with the Oregon Coast STEM Hub educators that we've been working with all over in a fantastic Data Trailblazer series. And it's around storytelling with data, or how do we tell stories in our data, or data storytelling, these different terms that come up a lot as we are working through and are sort of in the zeitgeist, and things that are coming through that your students might be hearing or that you might be hearing. And this came up specifically because one of the teachers in the cohort this year was doing their lesson development around, she's an AP bio teacher, and she was like, okay, I want my students to go a little bit deeper and I want them to do some storytelling with their data. She actually was super interesting. She's building out this lesson, looking at lactose intolerance and the genetic components of that, and all of these other environmental factors and different things going through sort of time and space across the world. So we were talking about this, but it reminded me of this kind of thing that I often say and that others often say of data storytelling is a really quick and easy way to say what we're trying to get at, which is when our students are looking at data and we want them to communicate, what are they finding? What are the results that they see? What is a story they can tell from the data? The challenge is when we frame it as data storytelling, a couple things happen. One, that puts the data visualization in the active space. It's the data doing the storytelling, as opposed to, no. Humans, no matter how much AI is helping us, we humans are doing the storytelling. We are doing the making sense of the data. We are selecting which story we want to tell from those data. So really, although it takes longer to say, it is storytelling with data. The same way we storytell with words, or we storytell with pictures, or with myths, or with imagery, things like that. We, the humans, are the ones telling the stories, writing the stories, telling the stories, different things like that. The other piece that happens when it's data storytelling is this thing that I was alluding to of which story do we want to tell in the data. Oftentimes when we're like, the data are telling the story, it's a story. And there are a myriad of stories that we can tell from any data set. It just depends on what we're interested in telling, what we're interested in exploring. Every day in our classroom, when our students are working with data, science, math, social studies, when they're working with those data to get at our content standard, our specific things that we're trying to teach them in relation to our subject areas, that is in essence the story we have selected that we want our students to be telling with the data, in that direction, which is great and really important and what we need to be doing in our classrooms. And there are multiple stories we can tell from a data set. And so opening it up, being like storytelling with data, then the data sits more in the plural. Data can be singular or plural, depending on how you talk about it. When it comes to working with data literacy. So thinking about where we're creating opportunities for our students to, one, be the active drivers, and two, to remind them that we can tell multiple stories from data. And there are a bunch of amazing folks who've put together great resources on how we can do this. This is the Writing Data Stories project. There are many other resources, but I just want to kind of give this one as a shout out. They've been doing tons of work thinking about how we put together different resources to support students as they are writing their data stories and or telling their data stories. This one was really focused on writing because it was this great combination of a multidisciplinary working group, but thinking about how we can help set our students up for success. And they have 3 different types of resources. So they've got data bites, they spell it a little differently, but these are just sort of short, quick. If you use any of U-Cubed data stories, think these data bites are pretty similar to that. They're sort of short exposure. So those are in terms of building students' data skills, but also thinking, how do I connect to the data? That human connection is another great way that we can put students into the driver's seat. Now, these data launchpad resources that they have are a little bit longer and they're more involved. And so here's an example of one of looking at sort of their Yellowstone data dashboard. And it's got all of these resources stepping in to helping students think about the context of the data, what data were collected, introducing the data table. And so really kind of walking students through how to make sense and then get to visualizing the data, customizing the data set to bring in which attributes, that filtering and simplifying based on what the story is we want to tell, creating the scaffolded step-by-step way to help students think about, oh, how do I get a sense of what's going on in the data? And then what is it I want to tell? What is it I want to sort of find in the data and then tell in my data story? So these data launch pads or dashboards are a great stepping stone. They've got a handful of them that you can look from if they are relevant to your content. Great. I should say this project specifically, the data writing stories, was specifically designed for middle school science curriculum, but all of these structures can easily be replicated and used across different content areas and subject and grade bands. And then they have these exploration units where they have more built out curriculum. And so I just wanted to share, I'll put the link to the writing data stories in the link below, but just thinking about that's one set of resources that you can use to pull from. I bet you have a ton already at your disposal in your curriculum, but it's just framing it or sort of approaching it from this perspective of, am I creating an opportunity where my students are in the driver's seat themselves telling stories, or am I inadvertently sort of implying the data are going to do the storytelling, kind of like Google Sheets is going to do the graphing? No, students need to be in the driver's seat. And where are we creating opportunities that our students sort of get that exposure and practice of, there are many stories we can tell out of any one particular data set. So there you have it. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Can't wait to talk to you some more and hear how things are going with your students around storytelling with data. It's so easy to say data story, but think of what opportunities are we creating for our students? Until then, keep exploring, stay curious with your data, and look forward to talking to you soon.